Lenovo kicked off their CES with a bunch of new stuff. Laptops, monitors, accessories, desktops, and all that stuff. But the most interesting stuff to us, of course, are the handhelds. And today we have a couple of them to go through. First and foremost, of course, is the Legion Go S, or rather both versions of the Legion Go S. It comes in two different flavors, chocolate and vanilla, Windows and SteamOS. And the second, of course, is the Legion Go 2 prototype. But we're going to talk about that later. And if you like this video or any other video I've made, please like, subscribe, and share with all of your friends. And check out my podcast, Off the Console. It's a cool new podcast where we talk about video games, technology, multimedia, and all sorts of other cool nerd stuff. You can find full episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, with YouTube having exclusive short clips as well. The Legion Go was one of my favorite PC handhelds to mess around with, and for good reason. It's a PC handheld with truly unique features not seen anywhere else. And with the mouse mode, it just kind of convinced me to ditch my laptop almost entirely in favor of just bringing this as my laptop, so to speak. But enough about that. Let's talk about the Legion Go S, because initially when I saw the leaks, I kind of thought this would be like a smaller version of the Legion Go. Like a mini, so to speak, or like a light or whatever, right? But it appears to be about the same size as the Steam Deck. A little thicker, but a little more compact. And if you look at it from a bird's eye view, the silhouette looks remarkably similar, definitely by design. The Legion Go S features a full complement of controls, your thumbsticks, your D-pad, your ABXY buttons, bumpers and triggers, and heck, it's even got some back buttons as well. So one pet peeve of mine was that the Legion Go had the start and select button in the bottom left corner, like right there. And that is just not a good place to put it, okay? It looks like they remedied this not just on the Legion Go S, but also the Legion Go 2 prototype, which we'll talk about later. So yeah, better button placements, great. They also seem to have a trackpad, but it's like one of those really small trackpads, those really compact ones that are useful for mousing functions, sort of. Someone's gonna try to hit Grandmaster in whatever game they're playing with this, but I really wouldn't recommend it, for gaming at least. It'll be good for mousing around in Windows though. You also have a switch in the back that lets you essentially lock your triggers and turn it into a hair trigger mode instead, preferable for FPSs. But the main differentiator here is that the Legion Go S is going to be one of the first to launch with SteamOS. The Windows version is launching sometime this month, literally this month, but the SteamOS version will come out sometime in May of this year. But aside from price and release date, both will be very similar in terms of performance and specs. The Legion Go S will feature either a Z1 Extreme or a Z2 Go. It'll feature up to 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5X memory running at 7500 MHz. It'll feature an 8-inch display, 16:10 aspect ratio. It has a 55.5 watt-hour battery. It's about 730 grams. It's got Wi-Fi 6E. It's got twin USB 4 ports at the top, up to 40 gigabits per second. It's got a micro SD card slot. And, what else is there to say? Those are the main specs. The most interesting part here is the processor. See, you get to choose either the Z2 Go or the Z1 Extreme. Now, if you have a Legion Go or an ROG Ally X, you're probably familiar with the Z1 Extreme. You know what it's capable of. But the Z2 Go is different. See, it's a much lower end processor than even the Z2, featuring, get this, RDNA 2, the same GPU architecture that the Steam Deck itself has. The Steam Deck itself features 8 RDNA 2 compute units, whereas a Legion Go S with a Z2 Go will have 12 compute units. And the results do show as per Dave2D's own video. Now granted, these aren't formal benchmarks or anything, but an increase in frame rate is always good, right? It also technically has a higher battery capacity than the Steam Deck OLED, 55.5 watt hours of battery. Now, more battery is always better, especially given the Legion Go has a smaller battery, technically speaking. But I do believe software makes the big difference. Software optimization and hardware optimization too. That's why the Steam Deck can punch well above its weight in terms of battery life. So while this may have a bigger battery, I don't see it overtaking the Steam Deck OLED in terms of being the one true battery king. The other important spec is the price, and the pricing situation seems a little confusing at first. Lenovo's own press page says that they'll be releasing this in January, with an expected starting price of $729.99. A bit expensive, isn't it? But then later down the line, sometime in May, they'll be releasing configurations that start at $59.99. Part of me believes this $59.99 SKU is in fact the Legion Go S with the Z2 Go. Also worth mentioning is that they say up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, which will definitely increase the price substantially. Now, increased RAM is important, especially for devices like these that require use of RAM as, say, its own VRAM, but still. Oh, and we're only talking about the Windows version. We've yet to even talk about the SteamOS version. See, the SteamOS version of the same device will be releasing later, in May of this year, and it'll feature most if not all of the same specs, but instead of running Windows, it'll be running SteamOS instead. Like not Bazzite, not Chimera, but official SteamOS itself. One of the Steam Deck's biggest claims to fame is that it just works. It's the console experience on a PC. It's PC power in a consoleized environment. And no, it's not the same as running Legion Space on Windows, or Armory Crate, or Play Night, or even Steam Big Picture mode under Windows. It's a different story, okay? It's not the same thing. It's a lot less janky than all of those solutions on Windows, trust me. So it's the same device but running SteamOS instead, which makes me wonder, will there be any sort of software optimizations to fully take advantage of this new hardware? You know, the Z2 Go or even the Z1 Extreme model that will probably exist somewhere? Hopefully so. The SteamOS model will be starting at $49.99, presumably for the Z2 Go unit. One thing I'm super curious about is the battery life compared to the Windows version when they're both at stock. If I do a drag race to see who has better battery life and better performance, would you guys watch? I sure hope so. But admittedly, the one device I'm most interested in is neither of these, but rather the Legion Go 2. Or I guess the prototype for it or whatever. So, the Legion Go 2 prototype is super duper interesting, see. As a prototype, any of the specs we see today may be changed and may not even be the same as it is. For starters, we have the Z2 Extreme as the main processor, featuring RDNA 3.5 graphics. It's even better than the Z1 Extreme by quite a bit. This one also goes with the 32 gigs of LPDDR5X memory running at 7500 MHz, which is great. And let's talk about the display, because this is where the good stuff happens. It's an OLED variable refresh rate display with native landscape resolution. It can go to 144 Hz, it's 16 by 10, and yes, I did say OLED and variable refresh rate. It's got the best of everything. It can ship with up to 2 terabytes of internal storage, and yes, the battery life has gotten a substantial increase as well. 75.5 watt hours of battery. Now technically, it's less than the ROG Ally X at 80 watt hours, but it's very close, and it's still much better. And, you know, I hear the Z2 Extreme's a little more efficient than the Z1 Extreme as well. So the control scheme for the Legion Go 2 prototype is very similar. It's got, you know, your thumbsticks, D-pad, face buttons, start and select Legion Go buttons, bumpers, triggers, and yes, it still maintains mouse functionality and it still has that trackpad. But they also added 2 new shortcut buttons on the bottom left corner, and those look like they do like Windows things. I don't know what they are, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. So yes, they also moved the start and select button to the top right corner, and that's a great place to put them. Bravo Legion Go for, you know, fixing that one issue I had. The only thing I would want for them to change is to just give us more battery life. Like, you know, give us an 80 watt hour battery, or heck, if you can, give us more than that even. And one more thing I would like is a SteamOS version, or if they don't want to sell a SteamOS version, just somehow work with Valve to get a version of SteamOS working on the Legion Go 2. That's something I would be super duper interested in, Lenovo. I don't know if you can make it happen, but if you can, that would be much appreciated. Yes, I know Bazzite exists, and yes, Bazzite is still a great option, but I think official SteamOS support would make things just a little easier. As for Lenovo's other stuff, I mean, they have the Lenovo Legion Tab. Kind of looks like an interesting, tablet. I don't really do a lot of tablet stuff because, I mean, I have a Legion Go. I use that as my tablet, basically. But hey, I hear their Android tablets are pretty good. I might want to try it out at some point. And they also have a monitor. I kind of need a new monitor. My monitor's starting to die out on me a little bit, and there's lines running across it. So yeah, convenient. An ultra-wide OLED monitor. That's super convenient. I need a new one. They also have a sling bag for your new Legion devices. It looks pretty neat. I mean, I already have a sling bag of my own, but this might be super interesting. And also they have the Legion glasses. See, I have the original Legion glasses and they were pretty good, but like there are better options out there for around a similar price point. This one is a little more expensive at $399.99, but it purports to be a little better, so who knows? I'll have to try it out at some point. Lenovo is bringing the heat to CES by unveiling a new Legion Go 2 prototype, as well as the first device that's not a Steam Deck with official SteamOS support. You know, in the form of their Legion Go S. Now, they could double it up. They could make the Legion Go 2 a SteamOS device if so desired. I'd buy it. I'd recommend people buy that. But if they don't want to sell that model, but instead they want to work with Valve to get the Legion Go 2 working on SteamOS, then I'd be fine with that too. Godspeed. Looking forward to these handhelds pretty soon. If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos. And if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.